All right, friends, I can see that I have skipped over a whole boatload of notes here. So the show is just meant to wet your whistle and welcome back if I forgot to welcome you back. So on my website, of which is undergoing some renovation, but I can't promise when that might be because I have a lot of helpers and it's really outside the scope of my understanding. So we're working on it. So, but on my website, wherever it might be, uh, a fuller explanation of this, because I do know some people will take advantage and um, use this part to scare people. And sometimes fright can be a good thing, right? Honey, don't touch the fire, the stove. It's hot,
Right.
right? So sometimes fears can be a good thing, but it can also be used for manipulation as well.
Hmm.
So, so there's that. So, but now we want to turn our minds to Isaiah. We want to transition. We're going from 24 to chapter 24 to chapter 25. And that's to avoid despair. That
Hmm.
just the deal. So let's get ourselves oriented. 24 and 25, I propose, should be read together. 24 exposes the consequence of covenant breakdown. Um, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty in individual lives, and it's not pretty because, right, a country, a people is built up on the family. So the family's breaking apart writ large will as well. So 25 so 24 exposes consequence. 25 begins to reveal what becomes possible once the truth has been faced. And reading them separately risks despair or sentimentality.
Hmm.
But if we read them together, we'll see judgment is a preparation for joy. So 24 leaves us in a place of collapse, and but the chapter ends with the affirmation that the Lord still reigns even as earthly structures fall. Judgment has done its work. Illusions have collapsed, and what remains is quiet. And before Isaiah turns to hope, he allows the noise to stop. It is a clearing, and judgment does require space. It removes what can't sustain life. And 25 begins with the explanation, but with praise. So that's how it begins with the praise. Oh Lord, you are my God. I will exalt you. And that's when truth emerges because um, after the clearing, if you will, can one really feast where injustice reigns unchecked? See,
Hmm.
and it really can't. So that needed to be addressed before we can turn to feasting, um, which is where 25 takes us.
Yeah.
Yes. Judgment's not God's final word, but it is a necessary word. So here are some key scripture anchors. 24:23. The Lord reigns even after collapse. Sovereignty remains intact. Isaiah 25:1. Praise follows judgment, not denial. Isaiah 25:2. The strong city brought low, false security dismantled. And Isaiah 25:3 through 4. Judgment creates refuge for the poor and shelter for the vulnerable.
Mm.
So we see a deliberate transition from exposure to restoration.
Yeah. It's like the power of humility, and I feel judgment offers that humbling where, yeah, this diagnosis of you have to be shown what's wrong, what's untrue, what's broken in order for the healing to commence. And yeah, I think it's such a hard thing for us to accept a lot of times because we don't like discomfort, especially this day and age with all the convenience and everything that we have. We we ignore or, fight off any form of discomfort because we want to feel good all the time. And that only leads to, a false sense of peace. And you have to have that humbling and the judgment and in order to receive the fullness of joy, in its full measure, because otherwise you're just getting a counterfeit, I think.
I think you're getting a counterfeit. Was it I was talking to some very bright people, young people, and they in the military, and they have you know, with military training, there's just a lot of suffering, just
Right.
just to do it. And so the question becomes, what does the Lord permit? Why does He permit? He not necessary cause, but why does He in His permissive will allow suffering? And I'm just because it's oftentimes the only way we can
Mm.
learn something, or
Right.
make restitution of something. And here with Isaiah going from chapter 24 to 25, we see it's not suffering for it to be masochistic about it, but it is suffering so that we can learn and, in God's case, be restored by it.
Right.
And
Well, it
it's,
makes
go ahead.
sorry. No, well, it just makes me think of how Paul mentions God's power is made perfect in our weakness.
That's
And
right.
we so often fear or demonize this idea of being weak when in reality, that's when God can show up more fully for us. When we accept our own weakness and brokenness, we
That's right.
understand how much we need a helper.
That's right. That's right. And my friends, we all need a helper.
Mhm. Yeah,
Let's be honest.
absolutely.
Okay. Let us turn to now in the next episode, Isaiah 25. Till then, my friends, fides et ratio.